She entered without knocking, undressed, and took her place beside me. He leaned back in his chair aboard the research station Haven 7, staring at the flickering holographic displays that showed streams of energy signals from the nearby void. Most of the crew had gone to rest after a long day analyzing cosmic anomalies, but Elias couldn't sleep. Something about the signals felt different, alive almost. "Captain," said Lieutenant Mara Klein, her voice soft over the intercom, "the energy readings are spiking again. It's unusual. You might want to see this." Elias rubbed his jaw, already feeling the weight of a long day. "On my way," he replied. He moved quickly through the narrow corridor, passing the labs and observation decks. The station hummed with the quiet sound of life support systems and distant machinery, but tonight the hum felt tense. When he entered the main lab, the holographic displays danced in unpredictable patterns. Pulses of blue and green energy rippled across the projections, forming shapes that reminded him of constellations, but they shifted too quickly to match any known star chart. "Looks like it's changing shape," Mara whispered, pointing at the largest display. "It's like it's alive." Elias frowned. "Alive or intelligent," he muttered. Something about the readings didn't make sense. No known phenomena behaved this way. The pulses weren't random. They had patterns, calculated, deliberate. Suddenly, a bright flash erupted in the center of the lab. Elias' eyes widened as he instinctively ducked behind a console. The light pulsed and shimmered, as if the very air itself had become liquid and started to twist. And then she appeared. At first, Elias thought he was hallucinating. Standing in the middle of the lab was a woman, but not like any human. Her skin shimmered faintly, like starlight caught in water. Her eyes were a luminous gold, reflecting the room and the holographic displays in a strange, mesmerizing way. She didn't speak at first. She simply looked around, as if she were observing every detail, every object, every human in the room. Elias slowly rose, unsure if he should speak. Who are you?" he asked, his voice trembling slightly, betraying his calm exterior. The alien woman's lips curved into a small, serene smile. Then, in perfect galactic common, her voice clear and melodic, she said, "I am Envra. I come seeking help. There is no time to waste." The words were simple, but the weight behind them made Elias' chest tighten. He had dealt with unusual encounters before, but nothing like this. A calm, intelligent alien being standing in the middle of the lab, requesting aid without explanation. Lieutenant Mara stepped closer, her hand hovering over her sidearm. "Captain, what do we do?" she asked, eyes wide with both fear and curiosity. Elias held up a hand. "No sudden moves. Let's see what she wants first." Envra moved gracefully, almost floating across the room. Every motion was precise, deliberate, as if she were calculating the air around her. She stopped a few feet from the main console, her gaze settling on Elias. "You humans," she said softly, "have something no other species possesses. You think quickly, you improvise, you adapt. That is why I came here." Elias blinked. "You came here because of us, but why?" Her eyes brightened, a soft glow emanating from her skin. "A great danger approaches. My civilization cannot stop it alone. I need your kind." Mara stepped closer, lowering her weapon slightly. "Your kind? You mean you want human help?" Envra nodded. "Yes. Alone I cannot succeed, but with humans we have a chance." "Will you assist me?" The room fell silent. The crew exchanged nervous glances. Haven 7 was a research station, not a warship. They were scientists, engineers, and explorers, not soldiers. And yet, something in Envra's presence inspired trust. She radiated confidence but not arrogance, calm yet urgent. Elias felt a stirring deep inside him, a combination of curiosity, excitement, and a sense of responsibility. He straightened his shoulders and took a step forward. "All right, we'll hear you out. But you need to explain everything, Envra. Who you are, where you come from, and what danger you're talking about." The alien nodded. "Very well, but time is short. I will start with what I can show you." She extended her hand, and the holographic displays responded instantly. New patterns appeared, forming a three-dimensional star map that filled the room. It was breathtaking: planets, wormholes, and ancient constructs connected by glowing lines, each moving with life and precision. Elias moved closer, mesmerized. This map, it's incredible. Where did you get this? It is not mine, Envra explained. It belongs to the Eternal Nexus, an archive of civilizations that existed before the current age of the galaxy. I am a navigator, a scholar tasked with retrieving knowledge and preventing it from being lost forever. Mara's voice was cautious. And the danger, what exactly are we facing? Envra's golden eyes darkened slightly. A fleet, ancient machines that were once guardians of the Nexus. They have awoken and see life in this sector as a threat. They will destroy anything in their path, including your world. You humans are uniquely capable of surviving their trials. Your creativity and adaptability, it is why I sought you. Elias' mind raced. A deadly fleet, ancient machines, a map to lost knowledge. It sounded impossible. But something about Envra's presence made him believe her. Humans had faced impossible odds before and often prevailed. He turned to his crew. We can't ignore this. If she's telling the truth, we're looking at a threat unlike anything humanity has faced before, and we might be the only ones who can stop it or survive it. Mara nodded slowly, still wary but trusting her captain's judgment. Then what's the plan? Envra's voice was steady, almost gentle. First, you must learn to work with me. We must navigate the hidden paths of space to reach the Nexus before the fleet destroys it. Your understanding of improvisation, your intuition, and your courage, these are vital. Only together can we succeed. Elias felt a mix of awe and responsibility. He glanced around at his crew, seeing their uncertainty mirrored in their eyes. Yet he also saw the spark of excitement. The chance to venture into uncharted space, to face the unknown. This was why humans explored, why they pushed boundaries. He straightened, determination in his posture. All right, we'll do it. We'll help you, Envra, but we'll need every detail, every bit of guidance. And we'll need to trust each other completely. Envra's smile returned, brighter this time. That is all I ask. As the crew gathered around the holographic map, Elias couldn't shake the feeling that their lives, and perhaps the future of humanity, were about to change forever. The Orion sector, quiet and still just moments ago, now seemed alive with possibility. And somewhere beyond the stars they could see, the first threads of a new adventure were beginning to weave. The sudden arrival of Envra, the alien woman who walked in without warning, had set into motion a chain of events that none of them could have predicted. Yet for Elias and his crew, one thing was clear. Humanity was about to prove itself in ways they had never imagined. And the galaxy would take notice. The day after Envra's unexpected arrival, Haven 7 felt different. The station, once quiet and predictable, buzzed with a new energy. Crew members moved faster, spoke in urgent whispers, and constantly glanced at the strange alien woman who now walked among them as though she had always belonged. Captain Elias Thorne sat in the command room, watching her work. Envra floated gracefully around the holographic star maps, her fingers tracing lines of light that revealed hidden pathways through the Orion sector. Every movement seemed precise, efficient, almost impossible for a human to imitate. Yet she never gave orders. She only guided, explained, and demonstrated. Captain, Mara said, approaching him cautiously, she's incredible, but we still don't fully understand her. How do we know we can trust her? Elias didn't answer immediately. He knew the question had no simple answer. Trust was earned, but sometimes in moments like this it had to be given. Humans had a way of rising to the challenge when faced with the unknown. He nodded slowly. We don't have a choice, Mara. If what she says is true, we're the only ones who can do this. The important thing is, we'll work together and we'll watch each other's backs. Mara frowned, clearly uneasy, but she nodded. All right, but if she tries anything, I won't hesitate. Elias gave a faint smile. That's exactly why I need you on this team. Meanwhile, Envra paused over a particularly intricate section of the holographic map. Here, she said, pointing at a series of glowing lines and nodes. This sector contains the first waypoint. It is heavily shielded, ancient, and dangerous. Only beings with both intuition and adaptability can navigate it safely. That is why I chose humans. Elias leaned closer, curiosity mixing with concern. You mean it's a trap? Envra shook her head. Not a trap, Captain, a test. The Guardians of the Eternal Nexus built these pathways to challenge intruders. They are not malevolent, but they are unforgiving. Many species have failed before. Many civilizations have been lost because they could not think beyond their instincts. He swallowed hard. And humans, you think we can succeed? Her golden eyes met his, glowing softly. I know you can. You have imagination. You improvise. You adapt in ways no machine, no protocol, no alien logic could anticipate. That is why I need you at my side. The words filled him with a strange mixture of pride and responsibility. Humans were often underestimated in the galaxy. Many alien civilizations dismissed them as primitive, unpredictable, and fragile. But Envra's words reminded him of the truth he had always known. Humans were special. As the hours passed, the crew and Envra worked together to prepare Haven 7 for departure. The alien woman demonstrated technologies that seemed impossible to understand at first glance. Energy converters that drew power from quantum fluctuations, navigation systems that responded to thought patterns, and shields that could adapt in real time to incoming attacks. Lieutenant Mara, initially skeptical, grew fascinated. She watched as Envra manipulated a holographic star chart with a gesture, creating a protective bubble around a sector of space. It's beautiful, she whispered, and it actually works. Everything she shows us is a combination of logic and intuition, Elias said, but it's up to us to apply it. That's the test, our humanity combined with her knowledge. By evening, the crew gathered in the main observation deck. The station looked small from the large window that framed the stars beyond. Envra floated silently beside Elias, her gaze fixed on the glittering void. There is one more matter, she said softly. Before we depart, you must understand what you face. The fleet pursuing me is relentless. They are ancient machines, built long before the current age. Their purpose is to destroy any beings deemed a threat to the eternal nexus. They see you humans as unpredictable and thus dangerous. Mara's eyes narrowed. And if we can't stop them, Envra's expression was calm, then we adapt. Humans always find a way. That is why I sought you specifically. Together we have a chance. Elias felt the weight of her words settle on his shoulders. Danger was certain. Failure could mean death. Yet beneath the fear, excitement bubbled. Humans had faced impossible odds before and often triumphed. This was a test unlike any other, and he felt certain they could rise to it. The preparations were complete by dawn. Haven 7, once a simple research station, had been transformed into a sleek, retrofitted vessel capable of surviving in uncharted space. The alien woman, now regarded as a teacher and guide, led the crew through the launch protocols. Remember, she said as they entered the cockpit, this journey will challenge not only your skills but your minds. You will encounter phenomena that defy logic, puzzles that cannot be solved by force alone. Trust each other, trust yourselves, and trust the unknown. Elias took his seat at the helm, hands gripping the controls. All right, let's do this. Humans and aliens together. With a soft hum, the engines activated, and Haven 7 lifted from the station platform. The stars outside blurred as the ship accelerated into hyperspace, leaving Haven 7 behind. The journey began quietly, with the alien woman guiding them through the first few waypoints. The crew marveled at the beauty and complexity of the uncharted sector, glittering nebulae that seemed alive, floating crystal formations, and streams of energy that pulsed like veins in the cosmos. But danger was never far. Sensors picked up distant signatures, automated patrols from the ancient fleet, slowly converging on their path. Elias knew that evasion and quick thinking would be critical. During one particularly tense moment, the ship passed through a narrow field of cosmic debris. The ancient machines were closing in. Mara's hands flew over the controls, trying to navigate the field while Envra's calm voice guided her. "Do not fight the currents," Envra instructed. "Flow with them. Observe, predict." Mara hesitated, then followed the advice. To everyone's amazement, the ship glided safely through the debris, avoiding collisions with precision. Elias allowed himself a small smile. "See, humans adapt, we improvise, we survive." The crew shared a quiet laugh, tension easing slightly. Envra's smile mirrored theirs, though her eyes never left the readings. Hours passed, and trust began to grow. The alien woman was no longer just a visitor, she was a partner. The humans learned her methods and she learned theirs. They began to understand that their combination, the aliens' advanced knowledge and the humans' intuition, was greater than the sum of its parts. But even as they celebrated small victories, Elias couldn't shake the feeling that a larger test awaited. The ancient fleet would not be deterred for long, and the real challenge, the one that could decide the fate of the Orion sector, was still ahead. As Haven 7 approached the final waypoint for the day, the stars shifted, revealing the faint outline of a massive construct. It was enormous, far beyond the scale of anything humans had seen before, a relic of an ancient civilization, with towers of crystal and fields of glowing energy that pulsed rhythmically. "This is it," Envra whispered, awe in her voice. "The first gateway, the trial begins here." Elias leaned forward, gripping the console. "All right, team, stay sharp. We've made it this far, now it's time to prove ourselves." The humans exchanged determined looks. For the first time, fear was mixed with excitement, for they were not just passengers on this journey, they were participants. The galaxy had underestimated humanity for too long, and now, side by side with Envra, they had the chance to show that humans could face the impossible and triumph. And as the gateway's energy fields shimmered and shifted before them, Elias felt a surge of hope. Together, humans and alien would venture into the unknown, and the galaxy would never be the same again. Haven 7 glided silently through the void, its sleek hull shimmering under distant starlight. The gateway had been activated, and the crew found themselves in a sector unlike anything they had ever seen. Stars burned brighter here, nebulae swirled in impossible colors, and massive asteroids floated in slow, deliberate orbits. This was a place where the galaxy felt alive. Captain Mara said, eyes wide as she monitored the instruments. "The readings here, they're off the charts. The energy fields, the gravity fluctuations, they're constantly changing. I've never seen anything like it." Elias nodded, gripping the controls. "We're in uncharted space. Expect the unexpected. Stay sharp." Envra floated nearby, her golden eyes scanning the readings. The Eternal Nexus constructed this sector to challenge travelers. It tests not only skill but creativity. Observe, adapt, and act. Do not rely solely on protocols. Trust your instincts. Elias exchanged a glance with Mara. "Instincts, huh? Well, that's something humans are good at." Their first trial came sooner than expected. A sudden wave of energy burst from a nearby cluster of asteroids, sending the ship rocking violently. Sensors screamed as the energy tore at the shields. Sparks flew in the cockpit as Mara struggled to stabilize the vessel. "Divert all power to the shields," Elias shouted. "Envra, any advice?" She raised a hand, and the holographic star maps responded instantly. A path opened through the energy burst, a winding corridor that seemed to flow like liquid light. "Follow the current, do not fight it. Predict its rhythm, and it will guide you," she instructed. Mara took a deep breath and guided Haven 7 along the path. Slowly, carefully, they moved with the energy instead of against it. The ship shuddered violently at first but gradually stabilized. By the time they cleared the field, the crew was breathing heavily, adrenaline coursing through their veins. Elias let out a relieved laugh. See, humans adapt, we improvise, we survive. Envra's lips curved into a faint smile. You are learning quickly. Your adaptability is impressive. But there was no time to relax. Sensors suddenly detected multiple fast-moving objects in the distance. The ancient fleet Envra had warned them about was closing in, their ships moving with mechanical precision. They've found us, Mara said, tension creeping into her voice, and they're fast. Elias glanced at Envra. Can we outrun them? They can match our speed, she replied calmly. You will need to think beyond speed. You will need to outsmart them. Elias nodded, feeling the familiar surge of determination that always came when humans faced impossible odds. All right, team. Let's show them what humans can do. Over the next several hours, Haven 7 navigated a gauntlet of cosmic hazards, collapsing starfields, gravity wells, and fields of magnetized debris that threatened to tear the ship apart. Envra guided them through each obstacle, but she encouraged human initiative at every step. Captain, if we angle the ship this way, Mara said, pointing at the holographic display, we can use the gravity well to slingshot around that asteroid cluster and put some distance between us and the fleet. Elias considered the maneuver. It was risky, one miscalculation and they could be crushed or thrown into an unstable orbit. But it was human thinking, creative, bold, and unconventional. Do it, he said. The ship groaned as it pivoted around the massive asteroid cluster, shields flaring to absorb the gravitational stress. For a tense few moments, the trajectory seemed wrong, but then the slingshot worked perfectly. Haven 7 surged ahead, gaining a small lead over the pursuing fleet. Envra's eyes glowed softly. Exactly. You think in ways machines cannot. This is why humans are necessary. You are unpredictable. You are resilient. The crew felt a swell of pride. Humans were often dismissed by the galaxy as fragile, primitive, and limited. Yet here they were, facing an unstoppable fleet and surviving through ingenuity and courage. As they traveled deeper into the sector, the obstacles became even more surreal. Floating crystal spires emitted pulses of energy that interfered with their instruments. Gravity reversed in isolated pockets, forcing the crew to recalibrate their controls constantly. And everywhere, faint echoes of the eternal nexus shimmered, as if testing them, observing their responses. During one particularly challenging maneuver, a crystal spire suddenly split open, releasing a cloud of energy tendrils that wrapped around the ship. Mara struggled to maintain control. Captain, we're caught. Elias clenched his jaw, his mind racing. Envra, any ideas? The alien woman raised her hand, but instead of giving direct instructions, she spoke softly. Feel the flow. Listen to the energy. Your instincts will guide you. It was a test. Envra wasn't telling them what to do, she was forcing them to trust themselves. Elias looked at Mara. We've got this, just go with it. They closed their eyes for a brief moment, letting instinct and experience take over. The ship tilted, rotated, and slid in a way that defied conventional logic, but the energy tendrils parted, letting them pass unharmed. When the crew opened their eyes, relief and astonishment filled the cabin. Mara laughed, shaking her head. I can't believe that worked. Elias smiled, proud. That's humans for you. We improvise, we adapt, we survive. The fleet was still in pursuit, relentless and efficient, but Haven 7 continued to stay just out of reach. Envra's guidance combined with human intuition created a synergy neither could achieve alone. Days passed in a tense rhythm of navigation, observation, and quick thinking. Slowly, trust deepened. Crew members who had been wary of the alien woman now worked seamlessly with her, anticipating her suggestions, applying her knowledge, and adding their own creativity. During one quiet moment, Elias found himself alone with Envra in the observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly beyond the window, casting shimmering light across her alien features. "You've changed my perspective," Elias admitted. "I thought we were just passengers in this journey, but you've made us partners, equal participants." Envra's smile was faint but sincere. "Because you are. Humans are capable of extraordinary things, not through strength alone, nor through technology alone, but through imagination, courage, and cooperation. That is what makes you special." Elias felt a surge of pride but also humility. Humans had always faced challenges and risen above them, often against overwhelming odds. Here, in the vastness of space, that truth was more evident than ever. Their next challenge came as they approached a massive nebula that blocked their path. The fleet was closing in fast, and the energy fields of the nebula were unstable, threatening to tear apart the ship. "Captain, if we go through the nebula, we can lose them," Mara said. "But it's dangerous. The shields might not hold." Elias looked at Envra. "Your call." She considered the readings, then nodded. "It is a calculated risk. Humans will need to improvise inside the nebula. Trust yourselves and trust each other." Elias squared his shoulders. "All right, full speed ahead." Haven 7 entered the nebula, turbulence shaking the ship violently. Crystal-like particles sliced through the outer hull, and energy surges disabled parts of their navigation system. But the crew worked together flawlessly, adjusting, improvising, and adapting. Envra guided them when necessary but left room for human ingenuity. For hours, they battled the nebula's fury. Each challenge tested their skills, their intuition, and their courage. And each time they overcame it. Slowly, they emerged on the other side, battered but victorious. The ancient fleet, unable to follow the unpredictable path through the nebula, was forced to retreat, at least temporarily. Relief swept through the cabin. Mara let out a long breath. "We did it, we actually did it." Elias smiled, exhausted but proud. "Humans adapt, survive, overcome, never underestimate us." Envra floated to the center of the cabin, her golden eyes glowing warmly. "Exactly as I said, you are remarkable humans. Your creativity, your courage, your determination, it is what makes you essential to the galaxy. Together, we can face whatever comes next." As Haven 7 continued deeper into the uncharted sector, Elias looked out at the stars. Danger would return, undoubtedly, and even greater challenges lay ahead. But for the first time, he felt truly confident. Humans were not just survivors, they were pioneers, problem solvers, and warriors of ingenuity. And side by side with Envra, they were ready to prove it to the galaxy. Haven 7 floated at the edge of the final gateway, a colossal structure suspended in the void. It shimmered with energy that pulsed rhythmically, as if the gateway itself were alive. The crew stared in awe. It was far larger and more complex than any starship or station they had seen, an ancient monument built by a civilization whose knowledge and technology had been lost to time. Captain Elias Thorne gripped the control panel, his eyes scanning the displays. The fleet that had been pursuing them was still at a distance, regrouping, but their presence pressed a sense of urgency into the mission. The crew was tired, their nerves frayed from days of navigating impossible hazards, yet Elias could feel the excitement buzzing through the cabin. This was the moment they had been preparing for. Envra floated near the central console, her golden eyes glowing softly. "This is it," she said. "The final trial. The eternal nexus will test your minds, your instincts, and your cooperation. Only by working together can the gateway be activated." Mara stepped forward, determination in her eyes. "Then let's do it. We've come this far." "Nothing can stop us now," Elias nodded. "Humans adapt, we improvise, we survive. Let's show them who we are." The gateway's energy field shimmered as the crew approached. Holographic symbols and shifting geometries appeared across the surface, forming a puzzle of intricate design. It was immediately clear that brute force or simple computation would not solve it. The pattern responded to intention, thought, and creativity. Envra observed silently. Machines cannot solve this. Protocols are useless. Only beings capable of intuition and innovation can succeed. Humans, this is your strength. Elias and Mara moved to the front, analyzing the complex energy flow. At first, it seemed chaotic, impossible to comprehend. Every time they tried a direct approach, the patterns shifted, almost as if the gateway were rejecting their logic. "Wait," Elias said, pointing at a subtle sequence in the pulses. "It's repeating, not identically but with small variations. Maybe it's a rhythm we need to follow, not a pattern we need to solve." Mara's eyes lit up. "So it's like music. We don't force it, we synchronize with it." Elias smiled. "Exactly. Humans feel rhythm, intuition. Let's try it." Together, they adjusted the ship's position and energy output, moving with the gateway's pulses instead of against them. The crew followed, adjusting controls, shifting power, and improvising as the gateway responded. Envra guided them subtly, but it was the humans' ingenuity, intuition, and courage that allowed progress. Hours passed. Every solution required thinking outside the box. At times, they had to combine creativity with risk, daring maneuvers that machines would never attempt. The gateway's symbols flickered and shifted, testing their resolve, but the humans never wavered. Finally, a deep hum filled the cabin. The gateway's energy flared, creating a bridge of radiant light. A passageway opened, revealing a star system untouched by time. Planets shimmered with life, vast fields of crystals glowed under distant suns, and floating archives of knowledge hovered in orbit. The crew stared in awe. It was breathtaking. This is incredible," Mara whispered. Envra's voice carried a note of admiration. "It is as I said, humans are extraordinary. Your courage, imagination, and adaptability have allowed you to succeed where many others have failed." Elias exhaled, a mix of exhaustion and triumph washing over him. "We did it together, humans and Envra." The moment of celebration was interrupted by a sudden alert. The ancient fleet had arrived at the gateway, ready to attack. They were massive, imposing machines, their weapons charged and aimed. Panic would have been natural, but the humans didn't falter. "Captain," Mara shouted. "They're attacking," Elias grinned. "Not this time, we're ready." Envra's calm voice guided them. "Use your creativity. They rely on predictable tactics. You are unpredictable. That is your advantage." The battle was tense. The fleet fired upon Haven 7, but the humans used the gateway's energy fields in ways the machines could not anticipate. They deflected attacks, manipulated energy currents, and even created illusions using the ancient constructs. Every move was calculated with intuition and creativity, qualities no machine could replicate. Mara executed a daring maneuver, guiding the ship through a field of pulsating energy that the fleet couldn't predict. Elias adjusted the ship's shields in response to the gateway's shifting patterns, and together they created a path that allowed them to strike at the fleet's central node. A series of precise energy pulses disabled the core of the ancient fleet's command ship. One by one, the remaining ships retreated, unable to adapt to the humans' ingenuity. Haven 7 emerged victorious, battered but intact. The crew erupted in cheers. Humans had not only reached the hidden star system, they had survived the ultimate trial and outsmarted an unstoppable fleet. Envra floated among them, her golden eyes glowing with pride. "You have proven what I always knew," she said. "Humans are capable of remarkable things. You are resilient, inventive, and courageous. Your species will be remembered not for brute strength but for brilliance of mind and heart." Elias looked around at his crew, their faces shining with pride and relief. "We always knew it. Humans adapt, we improvise, we survive." But it's not just about surviving, it's about thinking, creating, and working together. That's what makes us strong. Envra nodded. And now humans, the galaxy, will take notice. The knowledge and resources of the eternal nexus are now accessible. Civilizations that value peace and collaboration can benefit, thanks to your courage and ingenuity. The crew gathered in the observation deck, staring out at the vibrant star system before them. It was more than a victory. It was a promise of a future where humans could explore, learn, and contribute to the galaxy in ways no one had imagined. Elias placed a hand on the console, feeling the hum of the gateway beneath his fingers. We've done more than survive. We've proven that humans have a place among the stars, and we've only just begun. Mara smiled, her eyes reflecting the brilliant light of the new system. I can't wait to see what's next. Envra floated silently beside them, her presence a constant reminder of what they had accomplished. The journey continues, she said, but now you go forward knowing your strength. Humans are not just participants in the galaxy. They are pioneers, innovators, and guardians of knowledge. The universe will remember you. Elias looked at the crew, then at Envra, and finally at the endless stars beyond. For the first time in his life, he felt a profound certainty. Humanity was ready. They were more than survivors. They were creators, problem solvers, and explorers. The galaxy would watch, and they would rise to every challenge. Haven 7 shifted gently, engines humming, ready to venture further into the uncharted expanse. The gateway behind them pulsed softly, a silent acknowledgement of their triumph. Ahead, the stars beckoned, filled with mysteries, dangers, and wonders. And humans, together with Envra, would face them all, because humans adapt, humans improvise, humans survive, and in doing so they shine brighter than any star.